Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Guys with Cigars. It is election day. Go out there and vote if you haven't done it already. Even if you don't live in a swing state, pretend that your vote still matters. Go out and do your thing. It's your civic duty. Stand online like everybody else and suck it up. And then you can complain to your friends about how long the line is. You can take pictures like everybody else was doing about how long the line is. And you know what? It is what you do. So today we're going to be talking about a little bit of voting, a little bit of my campaign promises if I became president of the United States. We're going to be smoking the Knuckle Buster as I promised we would. And we're going to be doing a little Nancy Pelosi. We're going to be doing a little Trump, a little bit of this and that. So, hey, stick around. I'm going to light this while you watch the opening sequence credits. Here you go. We still don't have credits? You're kidding me, right? Fine. Guys with Cigars. Yeah. All right. Now that we're back from the credits, I am going to be cutting this Knuckle Buster. It's made by Punch. And you know what's really cool? If you look at the cigar, the wrapper, it's little brass knuckles on the top there. It's Punch Knuckle Buster. It's a Habano. It is a Nicaraguan Habano. And it has Nicaraguan filler, and it also has Honduran filler, I think, long filler. So give it a shot, check it out, and I'm gonna cut it and light it. All right. So, as I said before, it is election day, and yes, I did vote. I did not get my sticker. I totally forgot. So I would normally be wearing a sticker that says I voted, I guess to prove to people that I did. But you can trust me, I did vote. I also brought my mother to vote. And the line was long, but I think we were in and out of there in an hour. It's once every 4 years or so. Actually, it's every 2 years. But if you vote in the presidential election, it's once every 4 years. But it doesn't really matter. Now, supposedly, as I light this, according to what I read about the Knuckle Buster, is that it has some cedar, some nuts. These are all notes, as I've explained in some of my earlier videos. So what that means is, as you're going through it, you'll start to pick up. Yeah, I can taste the nuts. You can pick up some of the tastes or the notes, and as you start to swish it around your mouth, as you start to retrohale and stuff, and you'll get different tastes. It's not a full-fledged. It's like almost like if someone were to touch your memory with something, like just a little bit of like, oh wait a second, was that chocolate? And you won't get it again. It's just like all of a sudden, boom, it hits. You'll get it again, but it won't be like, wow, this is, people think you're going to be eating a chocolate bar. It doesn't work like that. It just hints at a little bit of what your memory puts together, is the way I like to think of it, because it all comes from the ground. It all comes from the earth. So when you're smoking it and you taste it, you think you taste something that it has no nuts in it. It has no chocolate in it. It has no, unless you have a flavored cigar, it doesn't have any reason to taste like any of these things. But those are the notes that I'm talking about. And as you try it, try to think of nuts as you're smoking this, or try to think of chocolate, or some of the leather. Leather is another thing that they say is in here. So think of those things and see if you can taste what they're talking about. And sometimes you'll be like, oh, I actually did taste that, or maybe you don't. Maybe it tastes something different. But sometimes it's coffee. Sometimes or grass is some of them. But enough with the cigars. We're just gonna sit here, enjoy it, and talk normal stuff that we always talk. I get this a lot in my life, and I don't know if you guys get it a lot in your life, but people like to say they like to say things like he thinks he knows everything, or something along those lines, or they make a big deal if you're wrong on something or you're right on something, whatever. But remember that if anyone is giving you a problem about being intelligent or knowing anything, It's really their own insecurity. They want to try to whitewash everything by saying, oh, he thinks he knows everything. It's like, there he goes again with his learning. You know, there he goes again. Did he read a book? Uh-oh. It's like we usually just make up random shit. Well, here's an idea, okay? If you never want to be wrong, it's a real easy thing to do. Never say anything you don't know. If you know something, feel free to add it in. But if you start making things up, or you hear half of something and add in the rest, there's a pretty good percentage of the time that you're going to be wrong. And I don't see the point. You know, if you know something about something, feel free to say it, add it into the conversation. And people always go, oh, well, he always thinks he's right. It's like, since when did intelligence become like this thing that like is frowned upon? It should be something that we celebrate, you know, knowing something, just like cigars, just like anything else. It's like they call it a gentleman's pursuit. The reason is because it's not just about the cigar. You know, for me, I like cigars, but I like the conversations I have while smoking a cigar. I enjoy the company I keep while smoking a cigar, which I know I said I'd have somebody on today, but it didn't work out. It's election day, so, you know, everyone's kind of here and there. But nevertheless, it's like it's more about that. And it's also there is a knowledge to it. There is a way to cut it. There is a way to light it. There is a way to smoke it. You don't have to do any of that. You can do whatever you want. You can cut it in half and light it off the stove for all I care. But there is a proper way to do something and an improper way to do something. And you knowing that knowledge doesn't make you better or worse. It just means that's what you like to do. So when someone gives you a problem about knowing something, don't take offense to it. It's just their insecurities, you know? And that's all fine and good, because people are allowed to be insecure. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit of something in there. I did see Nancy Pelosi was saying that if Trump loses, that he should take it like a man. And I was thinking about that. And the thing is, aren't they supposed to be like, you know, accepting of everybody, and they don't see gender and they don't see da-da-da-da-da, whatever? And then you tell them to take it like a man, as though what, men take it better or women take it worse? I mean, when you say take it like a man, that has certain connotations, right? What are you saying? You're saying that a man losing as opposed to a woman losing is like, it's easier for a man to do it, or a man like sucks it up and it's like, I know you're trying to be insulting, but really you're insulting to women. You're not really insulting to him. You're trying to make it so if he loses and he doesn't take it gracefully, that somehow he's a woman. Either way, Nancy Pelosi, you gotta get your head on right, man. And yes, I said man, but you gotta get your head on right. You know, all this, you know, women are weaker thing, that's gone out a long time ago. I've seen many strong women in my life do many amazing things. To say do it like a man or something like that, you can say whatever you want. It's a free country, but you know, there's no reason to be putting down an entire gender of people because you feel insecure. Insecure again. See, we go full circle. You know, it's there's nothing wrong with a guy saying to another guy, suck it up, be a man. Because the guy is a man and knows what it's like to be a man. But having a woman say, suck it up and be a man, is just trying to emasculate him by saying that. There's really no reason to do that. If you're not a man, you probably shouldn't be saying that. Just like women can say it to each other, hey, be a woman, suck it up. I mean, it sounds weird because it's usually not said, but if that's what you want to do, that's your thing. I can't tell you how to be a woman because you're a woman. So you feel free to tell women how they should be acting or not acting or whatever. I'll tell a guy how to act and not act, and that's all fine and good too. Because you don't have to take my advice, but I'm going to give it anyway. So I really don't care. You know, it's like I do believe that there are certain ways guys should act and certain ways guys shouldn't act. And doesn't make you less of a man or more of a man in your own eyes. But at the same time, it's like there's certain ways that I conduct myself and certain ways that I don't conduct myself. And a lot of people agree with me and a lot of people don't. That's fine too. But, you know, if you're not a man, don't be telling a man how to act. You know? We need to start owning up to what we do. You know? There's nothing wrong with being a guy. There's nothing wrong with doing guy things. You know, you could do anything you want. You know? You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. No, that's not the way it works. See, here's the way it works. The reason why we come up with these things and they go, oh, we can't say this anymore and we can't say that anymore. We do it anyway. We always do it. And I've said this before. That's for them. That's for the celebrities because they're on a high pedestal and they're going to dance when we tell them to dance and they're going to sing when we tell them to sing. And if we don't like it, we're going to throw them back down with the rest of us and they're going to lose everything. So why do you think everyone in Hollywood has the same exact opinion? Is it because it's the right opinion? No, it's because they still want to work. And if you want to work, then you better follow what they tell you to do or you'll be cast aside. That's the way it works. Same thing with us. It's like you're going to say this, 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 and this. We made up this, 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 and this, and now you're going to be saying that from now on. And if you don't, you no longer have a comedy skit. You no longer have SNL. You no longer have whatever it is you're doing. We'll just pull you down and throw you out with the rest of us. I mean, look at Sinead O'Connor. I know it's an old reference, but she ripped up the Pope's picture on Saturday Night Live. Never heard from her again. Because if we don't like something, we'll just eliminate it. But, well, you're no longer relevant. Next. And you can apologize and sing and dance, do whatever you want. Not too late. We're done. You're out. Goodbye. And you could do it literally with any celebrity. You could take any celebrity and just go, you're done. That's the cancel culture. That's what people like to do. But you don't cancel regular people. You know what I mean? Nobody's canceling me. Nobody's canceling a regular person at their job because they do whatever they want and say whatever they want because they have no one to answer to. You know, if I made millions of dollars on television or something, I'd have to start paying attention to what other people think. You know, and I'd have to be like, oh, well, you know, I really should watch myself because I don't want to upset anybody ever under any circumstances. And these people like Taylor Swift and all these people that come out and say, I just can't take it anymore. I'm going to stand up and say, I hate this political party or whatever. It's like, yeah, but it's the same political party everybody else is saying in Hollywood. So you're not really saying anything. You're just towing the line. That's all you're doing. Say something radical. So if you have something to actually say it. But don't just say the same thing everybody else is saying. It's completely pointless. And no one's taking you seriously anyway. Well, you know, as always, I got this from Puff Culture. And my buddy over at Puff Culture was absolutely right. This is a fantastic cigar. It's delicious. If you guys ever grab one, head over to Puff Culture, corner LIE and Waverly Avenue, and get yourself a Knuckle Buster. It's definitely worth it, man. I'm telling you. And then you can watch this video again and smoke it with me. Because the great thing about this is I'll always be there. You could rewind, pause, fast forward. You can do whatever you want. It's all good. Because I'll always be here smoking a Knuckle Buster for eternity. Anytime you guys want. Rewind it, fast forward it, keep whatever you want. I'm always going to be right there in your camera, speaking on the mic. But anyway, so I don't know who's going to be president of the United States tomorrow or 3 days from now or whatever. I know people are going extreme. You know, they're boarding up their houses, they're boarding up their stores. The White House just put up a giant fence around the White House in case something goes wrong. And I hope it doesn't. You know, I think that there are rational thinking adults out there. And those rational thinking adults are not going to be going on the street lighting things on fire. And they're not going to be beating people up because they voted a certain way. That's not a rational adult. It's just not. And every single one of you people, every single one, yeah, I'm looking at you, every single one of you people that lost friends or relatives or whatever over their political ideology, which doesn't even affect you on a daily basis. It really doesn't. Who the president of the United States is has such a small amount to do with your day-to-day life, that the fact that we're even arguing about it is ridiculous. This whole, they have the finger on the button. What button? When is anybody, I mean, you really think that somebody's sitting there going, I'm going to push this? Come on. It's like, it's just more hype. That's all it is. Do you really want him put on the finger of the button? It's just stop. It's like, I mean, do people actually listen to themselves when they say things? You know, they'll say like, oh, Trump said this and Biden said that or whatever. And then you look up what they said and it's like, yeah, well, yes, they did say that, but it was taken out of context. It's like that wasn't even the reference he was talking about. It's just complete and total nonsense. But people go, yeah, but this is the political point that I'm making. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. We're just going to say it anyway. It's like, when did we become children? You know? When did we start making up stories and start saying to each other, fairy tales that we know? It's like, you know that the other side is going to say this because you know that what you're saying is false and what they're saying is false as well. And it's all just nonsense. I literally haven't heard from either side one actual political point as to why they're voting for either candidate. Either one. I don't know. Joe Biden has been in for 47 years, and no one can come up with one thing that they like that he did, that they can even point to. I'm not saying he didn't do anything. What I'm saying is, shouldn't that be something that you should know before you cast your ballot? I mean, same thing with Trump. If you don't like Trump, fine. What policy do you not like? Not the fact that he has a Twitter account and you don't like how he talked to somebody, or, you think Joe Biden is a good person because he hugged somebody, he hugged a child or something like that. It's like, no, we need actual policy. We are adults. We're supposed to be actually doing this for our children and our children's children. We're supposed to be paying attention to the things they're actually doing. These people who are ripping us off on a daily basis, just taking all of our money and dividing it up amongst themselves. On one of the ballots that I just filled out, it said on the back that they found money in the sewage system or something, benefit fund or whatever it was. They didn't know was there. How do you have millions of dollars anywhere without somebody knowing that it's there? That's how much money they take from us, and that's how much money they loosey-goosey do whatever they want with. As there are people, 60,000 people, and rising on a daily basis of homeless people in New York, and the same amount in California or more, and you have millions of dollars in a fund that you didn't even know existed. That's a problem. While everybody here is sitting here bickering over Trump's latest tweet and whether or not Biden was involved in Hunter Biden's whatever nonsense he was getting into, they're literally robbing us. And then later on they go, oops, we didn't even know there was millions of dollars here. So what do you guys want to do with it? Did anybody even flip over the backside of that freaking voting thing? Most people didn't. Do you know there's 1% of the people that vote that don't even vote for president? They vote for everything else and don't circle whatever it is you do for the first spot for president of the United States. There's 1% of the people that do that. I mean, this is what we're talking about. There should be at least an intelligent voter out there that knows why they're doing something, and not because you always vote that way. If you always vote one way, and I've voted both parties. I've actually voted 3 parties at different times. When I couldn't decide between Democrat and Republican, I've chosen independents, which, by the way, irritates me too, because I started as an independent, not independence party, an independent, as in I had no Democrat or Republican ties one way or the other. And all of a sudden they created an independence party. And now I have people knock on my door. Hi, I'm, whoever from the Independence Party. Would you, and you know what? I always say, yeah, sure. Go ahead. You got my check. Go ahead and run. Because the more the merrier. But, the reality of it is I never signed up for Independence Party. I don't even know what the hell that is. I know they're not winning. Although one day we should all vote independents. Doesn't matter who it is or what they stand for, because we literally don't know what the other two stand for anyway. So we should all vote independent straight across the board and just watch some random guy we've never met before, never seen before, didn't even get on to talk to either one of the two, and just show up at the White House with like luggage. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm Sam. You're like, Sam who? Sam from Independence Party. What do you stand for? I don't know, but the movers need to get their stuff in, so you need to get out of the way there, buddy. You know what I mean? Just, why not? Why not? It's just as relevant as people who vote for a candidate and have no idea about any of their policies. I mean, they put them under Democrat and Republican, and the real reason why they put them on the Democrat or Republican is because that way they can blanket everything and say, well, I'm a Democrat, so you know that I believe in peace, love, and the outdoors. And then you find out none of that's true. It's just a blanket statement. They go, well, you know what Democrats do? And they go, yeah, but do they really though? And then you look at Republicans and they're like, oh, well, they're all about money and big business. And like, okay, and rich people, but isn't Hillary Clinton filthy rich? And Bill Clinton filthy rich? And didn't they not even own a house before they became a president? Before Bill Clinton became president? It's like the guy's getting $1 million just to stand up and say a few words at a college. And we're supposed to believe that they're not rich? Because every single one of them is sitting there saying, well, the rich guys, no, that's you. It's both of you. You're both rich. Neither one of you, any of you, are going to be anywhere near anything that could be considered poor in your lifetime, or your kids for that matter. But we have these delusions in our head of, Democrats are looking out for poor people and Republicans are just looking out for rich people. And then you look at the policies they put in place and you're like, yeah, but that's not true. It's like the policies you put in place aren't true. It's like Joe Biden did a mass incarceration back in 94. He called the Joe Biden crime bill. And then you're like, you incarcerated like all these people for basically nothing, as far as I can understand it. I mean, I didn't get into the whole crime bill and that whole thing, but check it out, see what's going on. I mean, it'd be too late by the time you see this, but it's not the point. The point is, just because they're telling you something doesn't mean it's actually true. And the Republicans are the same way. And what they're telling you is a complete and total lie also. Look at their actual policy and see what they actually voted for. And you'll see that it's like, wait a minute, how could this possibly be true? This guy's saying all these things like, oh, I could fix that, and I could fix that, and I could do this, and I could do that. And then you look on, and they didn't do any of it. They voted against things that they should be voting for, and they voted for things they should be voting against. And it's like, but they go, but I'll just tell the, Fox News, whatever it is I want to tell them, they'll run it, and it doesn't matter what I did or who I did it to. So, it's election day, so I'm trying to give a little bit, but, I can go on with this for hours. The things that you see on TV are all talking points because they think that we are all stupid. And so long as we keep voting that way, they're not wrong. They're honestly not wrong. If you're going into a voting booth and you don't have at least one policy in your head as to why, and this is not, let's go on CNN and listen to it until eventually they say something that I like, and I go, that's why. It's like, you should be listening to Fox News if you're a Democrat. And if you're a Republican, you should be listening to CNN. And the reason is because they're both full of crap. But at least you know what they're trying to sell you. It's a lot easier to see what somebody is trying to sell you that you don't believe in before you go and listen to just the mindless dronings on of the thing that you're already going to be voting for anyway. Maybe, who knows, maybe you'll find something in there that, on CNN or Fox News that you didn't think of before, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I find that really hard to believe because they're both full of crap. You don't even have the Walter Cronkites, and you don't have the people who are actual news. It's all opinions. Every single one of them is an opinion. Every single one of them is saying things that are not concrete fact. They say them in a way that sounds like fact, but it's not actual fact. It's just nonsense. It's just ramblings, kind of like I'm doing right now, but at least I'm being honest. You know, it's like you need to go into the voting booth and take 5 minutes, and before you go in, before you go down there, look up a couple of policies. See if they're actually ones that you want. Because chances are they're not going to keep their promises anyway. But at least you have a general idea of what this person is about. And yeah, they're going to lie. And yeah, they're dishonest. And yeah, they're going to take your money. And yeah, they're going to keep it. That's what they do. All right. But at the same time, before you go in, you should have an idea what you want as a person, and not what you think you should do. There is no, don't think of things like, oh, well, morally, I believe. No, you don't. If you're putting morals into it, you're wasting your time, because they don't have any. Okay? Democrats, Republicans, anyone in power, they don't have morals. They don't care about you. You have to pick what you think is going to be the policy you want to vote for. In England, for example, they have a parliamentary system. It's genius, because they have they have a lot of people. So basically, if you like trees, you can vote for the guy that is the tree guy, and then he might only have 1% of the vote or whatever when they have to pile votes together to get, but at least you'll be represented. That's why I said when I first started this whole debate a long time ago about Democrats and Republicans and all the stuff there, it's like, and you believe this. Yeah, because they know in England that you can't possibly agree with every single thing that this person is saying. So you vote for what you do believe in, and that person then represents that issue. And that's the way that's the way that handles. And I think it's a great idea, but you know what? It is what it is. But as if I were president of the United States, or if I was running for Congress or whatever, I think what I would do, in fact, I know what I would do is, if someone in Congress or any of the, if anybody passes a bill where they are raising your taxes, they should have to decrease their salary by the same percentage. So you raised our taxes 2%? Well, guess what? We lowered your salary by 2%. Oh, you want a raise? You guys going to vote on a raise for yourself? Fine. Then find it in the budget to lower our taxes the same percentage of the raise you're going to get. Because you should not be making millions of dollars after a couple of years in office and doing a half-assed job. Because you know that you're from New York, and New York always votes Democrat, so once you get that cushy seat, you never have to leave it. No. You want to lower our taxes. You want to give yourself a raise, lower our taxes. That's the way it should work. There should be a give and take. They would think twice. I guarantee you, they would think twice about raising any taxes whatsoever if it affected their bottom line. They don't care that it affects our bottom line. But if it affected theirs, then you'd have a completely different story. Then you would have people who are being honest, and they'd be like, hey, well, wait. I'm not taking a 10% salary cut because you guys decided to take more money from these people. Think about it. It's genius. Which is pretty much why I said it. But anyway, I had another one. I've heard this a million times, but I truly believe that if you can sign up to die for your country, you should be able to drink in that country. That's just the way it is. And I'm not saying you should lower the drinking age to 18. It's fine. Raise the age of enlistment to 21. And then, because they're trying to raise the 25, I heard now, for drinking. It's like you're telling me you can't have a beer with your dad, but you can go off to war? It doesn't even make any sense. This is the kind of stuff that as Americans, we got to be like, listen, no, we're not doing this. We want this. We should have a party in America, not Democrat, not Republican. We should have an American party in government that does not take any money. A party that you vote for, or that we vote in and we have a speaker for, that takes the pulse of America and says this is what they want. and every week you can go on and you just say what issue you're looking at. Like, I want to lower the tax on cigarettes, or I want to, make the drinking age 21 or 18 or whatever it is you're going to do. And then that guy has to go there like a lobbyist and say, I'm lobbying for the American people. Not that I'm lobbying for some big business or whatever. And I understand everybody eventually gets corrupt. But at the same time, we should have, as Americans, we should just be able to go on the computer and say, I want this. And everybody just goes, who else wants that? And they go, okay, well, Sam, go up to Washington and tell them we want this. And that's it. And that's the way it works. It'd be wonderful if life worked like that, but it doesn't. Such a good cigar. I have some weird news, actually. Costco. Costco. It's like Price. I think it used to be Price Club. Well, Costco is taking Thai coconuts, anything with Thai coconuts, off their shelves. And the reason they're taking Thai coconuts off their shelves is because of, you're not going to believe this. I guess it would be considered, it's not really illegal, but monkey labor. PETA says that it's not fair that they make monkeys climb the trees to grab the coconuts to bring them down for their Thai coconuts. So Costco said, you're absolutely right, I'm taking all of it off the shelves. And they're just discontinuing it. I didn't even know there was a monkey union. I mean, how do they know the monkeys don't enjoy it? I mean, they're climbing trees, right? They know what monkeys do. They climb trees. Next thing you know, you're going to be out in the backyard, right? You're going to take a tennis ball. You're going to throw it, right? Your dog's going to go get it and bring it back, and someone's going to go over the fence and say, excuse me, did you ask your dog if you could throw that ball? Because I saw him bring it back, but he brought it back, and the look in his eyes looked like he was being forced to do it. So I'm going to have to call PETA on you. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to call, the animal shelter and make sure that everything's on the up and square over here, and make sure that your dog is getting rewarded properly for throwing that ball and then bringing it back, because you can't just go about doing something like that. I mean, where do we end? I mean, really, monkey labor? I mean, I can understand if, and before you text me and tell me that monkey labor is, or whatever, I don't know if they're putting electrodes on their jumbles and making them climb the tree. I would assume that there would be an easier way to get the monkey to bring down a coconut, than torturing it. I mean, if there's torture involved, I say get rid of monkey labor and go climb the tree yourself. But if they're just making a monkey climb a tree and drop a coconut down, what's the problem? I mean, did the monkey have other things to do? Was it like in the middle of watching The Office on TV and you pulled it out and said, or you yanked it out of the shower or something and said, no, go get me a coconut? I don't think so. I find that a little hard to believe. Who knows? Maybe they let it keep a coconut. Bring it home to its little monkey relatives, and crack it open and they sit around and, throw poop at each other. I don't know. But my point is, yeah, that's strange news, but this is actual news. Costco. I don't think I'm ever going there again. I don't know. Not until they bring back Thai coconuts. Anyway, I was watching a TV show, and if you get a chance to watch it, I think it's like a mini series or something. It has 9 episodes. It's called The Hunting at Bly Manor. My daughter got me to be involved in it, I guess. Watch it. And, we started, I was like, it sounds like a kid's show, you know what I mean? It's like, ooh, The Hunting at Bly Manor. I was like, ugh. And, it's Halloween, so I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. So we started watching it. And it was actually pretty good. And I watched all 9 episodes, and it's one of these, like, you don't know what's going on, and you kind of get a little taste of what's going on or whatever. And then the ending was like, wow, actually, it was actually really decent. But anyway, it got me thinking about other last episodes that I've seen, and I know this was years ago, and I don't know how many of the younger viewers have seen The Sopranos, but that was always one of those episodes where it ended and people were really upset. And I remember watching it, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand what happens. For a refresher. Tony Soprano, the mob boss, is sitting in a restaurant with his family at like a diner, and every time someone comes in the door, a bell rings, and then it's like Journey's playing in the background, and you don't really know what's going on, and then all of a sudden, right at the end, spoiler alert, the entire screen goes black, and everyone's like, what happened? They thought the TV went bad or something. Well, watch it again. And think of this. Every time that bell rings when someone comes into that restaurant, it goes from, you have two screenshots. One is the pan of the restaurant from Tony's point of view, which is where the camera is, where they would obviously have the camera and it would be as though you're looking through Tony's eyes. Then when the bell rings again, you see only Tony's face. Then the bell rings again and you see the pan again of the restaurant. And as I started to watch it, I realized that I had heard this theory once before, and I wasn't too 100% on it, but I watched it again, and I think that they're right. When you watch the scene, it goes and it pans, then it goes to Tony, then it pans the restaurant, then goes to Tony, and the last thing, when it goes ding ding and it pans, you see the daughter walk in the restaurant and ring the bell, and now you're looking from Tony's point of view and the screen goes black. I think that's where Tony Soprano got shot. I think he did die, and we didn't get it as an audience, because what he was trying to do is, the guy who created it was insulting the audience, because as Pavlov did, he would ring the bell and dogs would salivate every time there was dog food. You know, they'd put the dog food out, then they'd ring a bell, put dog food out, and the dog would salivate because they knew the food was coming. And then after a while, they didn't have to put the food out, they would just ring the bell and then it would salivate. Well, I think they were insulting us by having us anticipate his death every time the bell rang, the bell rang, the bell rang. And it would change viewpoints. And then you're like, well, what's going on here? Why is this rush? Why is the Journey playing or whatever? And then all of a sudden, boom, no music, no anything, no. He put us in Tony Soprano's shoes by having the camera change to his point of view. So he legitimately killed the entire audience, I think was his original point. But that all brought up by watching other TV shows and things like that and thinking of last episodes. And if you guys have any last episodes that you liked or hated, let me know and I'll review it and I'll go over it, because there's a lot of things where you think it's a really bad episode, but we just weren't ready for it. And I think that's what happened with The Sopranos. I don't necessarily think it was a bad episode now. I just didn't get it at the time. But watching it now, you know, having seen that and having that as the idea, it fits, you know. So watch Bly Manor, though. You know, if you have like a teenager, they'll enjoy it. It was a lot of fun to watch. Lastly, before I close this up with my inane ramblings, is you know, the Giants. I just can't, man. It's another loss, and the thing is, they shouldn't have lost. You know, we had our quarterback, Danny Dimes, who's probably gonna have his name changed because he doesn't drop dimes. He's actually not a bad quarterback, but the guy threw 2 interceptions. He's had 39 interceptions, I think, in 21 games. Something ridiculous like that. The worst quarterback ratio since Ryan Leaf. And if you don't know who Ryan Leaf is, look him up, okay? Terrible. They did a 30 for 30 on him because he's that bad. Like, where is he now? And, like, what happened? And anyway, he's throwing interceptions every single game, over and over and over again. And yet we still see sparks of a great quarterback in there, where he makes great passes and he makes good decisions and they're doing trick plays and he learn, you know, and that whole thing. But you cannot throw 2 interceptions a game or an interception a game. It's ridiculous. And now the Giants have to face the fact that this guy might not be the quarterback of the future, for all we know. I mean, did they bomb out the season and go pick up the new guy? I don't know. But, it's just over and over and over again every single week. I have work early in the morning. I stay up to watch the Giants, and every single time I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I up? Why am I watching this? I'm showing up for them. They don't show up for me, And that's not the defense. The defense did really well. The offensive line, actually, a bunch of rookies and a mishmash crew actually did a really good job. And they were getting to Brady, and they were doing a whole bunch of things that they were doing really well. And then cough, 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 and it's just too much. And then the icing on the cake, as though we're not in bad enough shape. Brady goes down, scores a touchdown. We get the ball back. Danny Dimes goes all the way down the field, scores a touchdown. So now all he needs is a 2-point conversion to tie it up. Throws a 2-point conversion. It's caught. It's knocked out. Well, I shouldn't say it was caught. It was thrown, and it would have been caught, except the defender slammed into the guy and then goes, I didn't do anything. They threw a flag. It was an obvious pass interference. Then they go into a huddle and they go, we're not even going to review this. We're just going to say that never happened. Pick up the flag and go home, which is exactly what they did. They didn't review it. They just went and they said, listen, we're just going to pick up the flag. I think I got, some stuff I got to do. The wife's got me getting up early tomorrow. I think she's cooking maple bacon pancakes. So, we just pick up the flag and we can get out of here. They go, there was no flag on the play, and game over. It's like, this is what we have to deal with on a daily basis over with the Giants. The coach himself said that the guys in the black and white pinstripes did them wrong. They did them dirty, and they did. And everybody knows it. It was on Monday Night Football. Everybody saw it. And now it's just sour grapes. Now it's just people who just, it's just sour grapes. You know what I mean? Because if you lose, it's always, of course you shouldn't have lost, but you did anyway. And Tom Brady's the best, and that's why. No. He got beat. And they should have gotten that 2-point conversion, and they would have went into overtime, and then you fight it out and you see what happens. They held them to virtually no points in the first half. The second half, they came back strong. They blew it a little bit with the guy throwing interceptions. I get that. But then you rob them at the end of the game. That's not the way things are supposed to go. You don't throw a flag and then go, never mind, and then pick up the flag and go home and go, game over. And then once they say game over, there's nothing you can do about it. It's me just sitting here complaining. That's all it is. And that really pisses me off. So, anyway, guys, girls, women, men, I hope you got a chance to go out and vote. I hope you get to express yourself. And I hope you get to get everything your heart desires, but chances are that's not going to happen. And, we could just hope for the best, And if your person loses, suck it up. Nancy Pelosi does have a point. You should suck it up. But you don't have to be a man to do that. Women can do it too, all right? Men and women can both suck it up, okay? If your person doesn't lose, remember, they really don't have any say over your day-to-day life, other than the fact that you're going to be arguing with people at work or arguing with your family on Facebook. But in reality, it doesn't even matter. And half the stuff you're saying, you probably just learned on TV 5 minutes ago and you didn't even know about it. Hey, look, can you believe he did this? You didn't read that? Yeah, because it doesn't affect me. Because it really doesn't affect me for the most part. It doesn't affect most people for the most part. And I'm not talking about big, giant, things that really, it matters and it doesn't matter. I'm talking about on a day-to-day basis, nothing the President of the United States is going to do is going to stop me from doing my day-to-day activities that I do every single day. I'm still going to go to work. I'm still going to, buy what I buy, and I still do my things that I do. And I'm pretty much not even going to be affected. But we act like it's, having those people cry, my president. Like, seriously? It's like, you got to grow up. It doesn't affect you that much. Anyway, I've said my piece. Next week, we'll see if we can get someone on here, and I'll let you know what I'm smoking. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed it. And at least let me get things off my chest. Let me ramble a little bit. And don't forget, subscribe, hit the button, and send me a note. Send me something, and I'll put you on. All right? And you can also send me email at yoleader56@hotmail.com. Peace. Happy Election Day.